So here we are at the end of the first quarter of 2022, and we can officially report on what happened in the Brooklyn property market across the 16 key neighborhoods that we track, because we published our first quarter report. And let's start with your impressions of the overall quarter in terms of, was this one that's a record breaking quarter for the books?
Yeah, so regarding townhouses, absolutely. A lot more strength with those transactions first quarter than condos, but we'll get to condos in a little bit. Townhouses overall, $512 million worth of 1 to 4 family townhouses traded hands in the first quarter of 22. And that's the third highest dollar volume on our record anyway for the last 7 years. And the first highest regarding first quarters over that same time frame of 7 years. So super healthy quarter.
And have we backed out of the last quarter of 2021 into 2022? How did that compare?
So we had 202 deals first quarter, 211 deals fourth quarter. See, in our tracking of data, first and fourth quarters are quite similar, really kind of shoulder to shoulder as far as the number of transactions, dollar volume goes, and quarters 2 and 3 are above those. So that's kind of there. It's the bottom of the seasonality there. But again, interestingly, very strong for first quarter. We haven't seen that in quite some time.
So let's talk about neighborhoods, and let's talk about top 5 neighborhoods for some key stats related to townhouse data coming out of this first quarter. It's like a top tips thing. So if we talk about the highest average sales price across the top 5 neighborhoods.
Yeah, so Brooklyn Heights, Cobble Hill, downtown Brooklyn, Boerum Hill, Carroll Gardens. See one snuck in there that we don't typically see, downtown Brooklyn, only 2 deals there, but usually that's not in the top 5. So super interesting to see that happen. Obviously very strong sale prices for those 2 deals.
Definitely. Absolute number of sales.
On the absolute number of sales basis, we have Bed-Stuy East coming in number 1, number 2, Park Slope, number 3, Bed-Stuy West, number 4, Williamsburg, and number 5, Carroll Gardens, with 11 deals occurring in that neighborhood in the first quarter. And
gross transaction volume?
Slightly different alignment here. Park Slope with 127 million as far as gross dollar volume goes. Bed-Stuy East number 2, Bed-Stuy West number 3, Williamsburg number 4, and again number 5, Carroll Gardens, with $35 million worth of homes trading hands.
And finally, the dollar price per square foot by neighborhood.
Sure, and this is going to follow a little bit closer to what we see historically here, as far as what people's perception of price is, or ranking of these neighborhoods from desirability. I guess Brooklyn Heights number 1, Cobble Hill number 2, Boerum Hill number 3, Carroll Gardens number 4, and number 5 here, Gowanus. Kind of a little unusual here to show up here. 5 deals occurring there, which is pretty healthy. But those homes at 2,000 and change square feet are like half the size of the homes in Brooklyn Heights, which in our tracking of data has the largest average size of a home in all these neighborhoods that we cover.
So any surprises and changes in what we're seeing there for townhouses over that first quarter? Anything that leaps out at you?
The demand overall is really strong, which is heading into the spring selling season here, which is typically where the most activity occurs. But these numbers also indicate that the fall was likewise quite healthy and active, and to have that amount of volume and that average price be the highest first quarter ever really is interesting, of that pent-up demand that was kind of all those sideline buyers there for quite some time due to the pandemic are back and are quite committed to these homes, which could be turnkey or could require quite a bit of renovation. And you see more of those buyers today right now, where they're committing to improving homes versus turnkey, which was a bit more popular, I guess, half a year ago, 12 months ago.
So let's switch to condominiums and look at that data for the first quarter of the year relative to a year before and where we ended up in 2021.
Sure thing. We saw $528 million worth of condominiums sold in the first quarter versus 572 a year ago. As we were talking about earlier, first quarter 21, quite the rebound from 12 months earlier than that in 20. And that it was kind of a slow period anyway. And obviously the pandemic, all this pent up demand. And so super strong quarter, first quarter 21. And then again, a pretty healthy quarter here where, in our record keeping, these are kind of pre-pandemic kind of values here of homes, both resales and new development. So good to see that.
So let's go to the same questions that we asked on townhouses for top 5 neighborhoods for condominium sales in the first quarter of 2022. Highest average sales price by neighborhood.
Sure, we have Cobble Hill number 1, Brooklyn Heights number 2, Fort Greene coming in at number 3, Borum Hill 4, and Dumbo as number 5.
An absolute number of sales.
Williamsburg, 111,
Wow.
which is staggering. Bed-Stuy West, number 2, Downtown Brooklyn, number 3, Dumbo, number 4, and Park Slope, number 5 at 23 deals.
And the gross transaction volume?
Back to Williamsburg with $167 million in those 111 trades. Downtown Brooklyn, number 2, Dumbo 3, Bed-Stuy West 4, and Brooklyn Heights, number 5. With just under $46 million worth of deals occurring.
And finally, the average dollar price per square foot.
So almost follows the kind of top 5 ranking on average sale price. We're talking dollar per square foot, right?
Yes, correct.
Yep. Cobble Hill, number 1, Brooklyn Heights, number 2, Dumbo, number 3, Downtown Brooklyn, number 4, and Borum Hill, number 5.
Lots and lots of data that we have, obviously, as a result of our first Q report being in the books, and lots more that we can share with people, which we will do in the future. But for now, it's just great to see what we suspected from our weekly data tracking, but how healthy the first quarter of the year has been.
Yeah, for sure. And just to kind of stress what we do here is that we go neighborhood by neighborhood, right? And which I think is a little bit unique relative to what some of the other reports that are published. So it's quite granular. Some of that movement in there sometimes is bumpy because there could be a few deals occurring per neighborhood, but there are these kind of preferences and these rankings, understanding of value neighborhood to neighborhood. So that's why we organize it that way. And certainly have the information related to specific buildings in these neighborhoods that are finding the most traction and so forth. And happy to share that with our clients and or anybody inquiring. Don't hesitate to reach out.
Great. Okay, I will see you next week.
Take care.